Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host, Doug, here with your video blog for February 10th, 2014. I have a great blog planned for you today. We're going to be talking a little bit about some Alex Rodriguez as a new development has been made in his lawsuit. We'll also talk some college hoops, some NBA, so I want to start off with college hoops coming off an interesting weekend in college hoops. We saw some upsets. We saw one team go to 23-0, but the biggest story has to be Marcus Smart, suspended 3 games by the Big 12 after shoving fan Jeff Orr, kind of a booster of Texas Tech basketball. Orr allegedly called him a piece of crap. Marcus Smart pushed him. Marcus said there was racial slurs. Marcus went down after a foul. And really, I cannot blame Marcus Smart for pushing the guy. I'm not surprised he pushed him. If you're a 50-year-old guy, John, with a 20-year-old college basketball player, you got some problems. You got to figure it out. And Marcus Smart, it was an emotional game. It was a tight game late. He got shoved out of bounds. He got up. Didn't really shove the guy that bad. I mean, the guy's a pretty big guy. He barely even touched him, I would say. It's a weak shove. Smart barely got a hand on him. Overblown, overdone. Smart will sit 3 games, and it shouldn't really affect his draft stock. That's what everybody's been talking about today, how it will affect his draft stock. People kind of knew he was an emotional kind of player before. This kind of showed it a little more, but I think Smart will be fine. I think he's still got to be a lottery pick for sure. Syracuse Orange extending their record to 23-0 yesterday after they beat Clemson 57-44. C.J. Fair finished with 19.7 rebounds. K.J. McDaniels of Clemson, 19 points, 10 rebounds. Those two guys going back and forth. Syracuse defense was great once again, holding the team under 50% shooting. Played good defense. They shot about 50%. Trevor Cooney played well. Jeremy Grant played well. Ennis kind of struggled with his shot, but got it going. We really saw some foul trouble with Rakeem Christmas. By Musakita went down with an injury. He's likely to be back Wednesday for the big SU Pitt game. But Syracuse just took care of business like they have to. They play great defense. They've shot the ball better the last couple weeks, and they're moving on. But they got some tough games coming up, and one of those is Wednesday at Pitt, which we'll talk about more on Wednesday. Okay, upsets this weekend. A lot of upsets, and I'm going to give you my reasoning that I think the upsets are on the increase for sure. The main reason I think is because of conference realignment. You got teams traveling time zones, traveling a lot, being on the road weekends. We saw Cincinnati go down at SMU. SMU's a good team, but Cincinnati on the road, tough environment, going time zone, going to Texas is tough, and that's why they lost, I think. There's been a lot of time zone switches, a lot of teams going down, and that'll really stop. I think we've seen a lot of upsets, but once we get into the NCAA tournament, I think these upsets will decrease because ultimately these teams will not be at home. It'll be neutral sites. The better team will win the game, and there will not be as many. We'll see as many upsets as last year in the NCAA tournament, but we're not going to see more, okay? There's been a lot of upsets. They're on the increase, and I'm deeming it towards conference realignment and all the traveling these teams are having to do, especially in the Big East and in the Big 12 right now, as the Big 12 is on a round robin, and you're going to play some good teams back-to-back and have some struggles for sure. All right, new AP poll released today. Top 5 do remain the same. SMU, though, they sneak into the top 25 in at number 23. Good for the program there. Orange is still number 1 unanimous. Arizona. Then we have Arizona, Florida, Wichita State, and San Diego State. Okay, so exciting for sure. We got some good teams in these polls. Kansas, let's see. Villanova at number 6. Kansas 7. Duke up to 8th. Michigan State and Cincinnati round out the top 10. Wisconsin, Ohio State are both back in after being out for a week, and the teams that fell out were Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, and Gonzaga. Okay, Gonzaga lost a tight one with Memphis. So ultimately, I'm happy with what the AP poll is doing right now. This poll is really starting to take shape, and it's going to be important going down the stretch of who gets those top 4 seeds in the NCAA tournament. Okay, right now, I think my top 4 seeds would have to be Cuse, Arizona. I want to say Florida and San Diego State. I don't like Wichita State as a 1, but if they're unbeaten, they're going to get a 1. If they drop a game, San Diego State will get the 1, so we'll see what happens. But it should be exciting going down the stretches. We'll get into more bracketology as this month of February wears on. All right, time to get to some NBA action. Yesterday, Knicks lose to the Thunder. Durant has almost a triple-double and assist shy of a triple-double. Knicks not playing great. I mean, I'm seeing some struggles from them. Melo shot the ball terribly yesterday. I believe he was 5 for 19. Bright spot for sure had to be Raymond Felton, who shot the ball a lot better. Tyson Chandler played well. Shumpert, he's just become a three-point corner pocket shooter. They got to move Shumpert around. They got to get Shumpert driving the lane. At one point, he had just 12 points on 4 of 6 from 3. They got to get this guy getting into the lane. He's not a great shooter, but he is a great player, or he is a good player, and I feel like he could get to the paint and score and get fouled and hit free throws. Knicks are just struggling right now. They got a tough stretch. They're 20-31, and we got to see what they got to do, but they got to get Melo going. They got to get Shumpert driving to the rim, and Stoudemire's played good, so we'll see what they can do with that as well. Coming up this weekend, we have All-Star Weekend, and I want to talk about Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard is set to go to All-Star Weekend, and he is going to compete in 5, yes, I said 5 events at All-Star Weekend. He will be in the Rising Stars Challenge, the Skills Challenge, the three-point shootout, the dunk contest, and he will also make an appearance in the All-Star game, okay? So that's going to be a lot of fun to see. I think it's good for the NBA. Lillard, I think his best shot to win one of these is going to be the Skills Challenge. There's a lot better shooters and a lot better dunkers, but he is a quick point guard. The key is going to be if he can hit that jumper. If he can hit that jumper in the Skills Challenge, he will likely win the Skills Challenge. So that's who I'm picking to win the Skills Challenge, and I'll let you know who I got in all my other events later on in the week. NBA action, other NBA action yesterday. Chris Paul returns. He had 7 points, 8 assists, 3 steals in 23 minutes in a drumming of the 76ers by the Clippers. And if Chris Paul can come back and be effective, this is going to put the Clippers into that top echelon of the Western Conference teams. It'll be interesting to see how they use Chris Paul going down the stretch, if they kind of wean him back in, or after this performance, if they just throw him back in. I bet they kind of bring him back slowly, but he's going to be a big-time performer, and this team that's playing a little bit better defense could make a run in the playoffs for sure with this lineup. All right, final note I want to talk about. Alex Rodriguez drops his lawsuit with Major League Baseball, accepting his 162-game suspension. He will not attend spring training because he does not want to be a distraction. I think this is a step in the right direction for A-Rod, and we will continue to see him make steps to kind of start to give back to the community and start to reform himself before he gets back on that field next year, when I think he will be back in a Yankee uniform next year. So we'll see what happens, especially since he dropped this lawsuit. All right, Wednesday, we'll be back with a Syracuse-Pitt preview. This is a game I think Syracuse could lose on the road at Pitt. We'll also talk some NBA trade deadline as the All-Star Weekend is coming up, where a lot of trades go down. And also, I'll let you know what my favorite event is of All-Star Weekend, and it might surprise you. So always remember to follow me on Twitter, YankeeBaller415. That's YankeeBaller415. Looking for a way to expand this blog. If anybody has any ideas to get it to a permanent radio kind of deal platform, let me know what you think. I'll get back to you. Always remember to comment on my page. Leave me a question. I'll answer a question right here live on the blog. Also, you can subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back on Wednesday. Have a good start to your week, and we'll see you at the midway point.